Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the weekly roundup. I'm Chase. This is.
Hey, this is Andrew.
And we've got a shorter episode for you this week, so we're going to just jump into the headlines and get moving. A center fielder for a playoff contender has tested positive for PEDs and will miss the rest of the season. Clayton Kershaw's injury woes continue. An MVP candidate is switching positions for the rest of the season. And speaking of MVP candidates, there's a new contender for the NL MVP. All right, so to start us off this week, we have the Oakland A's Ramon Laureano. He's in the news for testing positive for a substance known as nandrolone. Yeah, I said that right, I think. And he's been suspended for 80 games for testing positive for it. What do you think, Andrew?
I honestly, I thought the Athletics were going to be hit really hard by this. Laureano is a big contributor for their team, but they've just gone on to win basically 8 out of their last 10 games. They've created some distance in the wild card. Honestly, from what I've been reading about Laureano, is that he had a lot of injury troubles last year. The speculation is that he was taking something to increase his recovery time, which I understand, but you're playing with banned substances, you're going to get caught eventually.
Yeah, that sounds a lot like the Robinson Cano incident to me.
Yeah, it really does. There's always just that thought in the back of your head of like how many guys are really using PEDs and whether or not they just unluckily got caught, I guess would be the way to say it. With all the news, just how in depth some countries have taken it. Speaking of the Olympics with Russia, where they have like entire organizations that just secretly ship this stuff into athletes. It feels like most top contributors at the top level are probably doing something that's a little shady just to get to that level.
Yeah, and I want to touch on that Olympic incident with the Russia doping scandal, because that was last Olympics, right?
Yeah, it was.
And it was every team on the Russian side except, what was the one? It was one that didn't require like any strength training or anything.
Yeah. Actually, I just watched the documentary on that Icarus, where it was about a guy that was doing a documentary and trying to increase his cycling speed for road bikes. And so he was basically taking a bunch of different doping methods to see if he can increase his speed for the documentary. And he got in touch with one of the Russian top scientists. And it turned out this was the guy that was running the entire organization. And the guy ended up just leaving the country with them, hiding from Russia when the whole thing went down. But what the big part of the documentary was is that you have just a massive amount of money that's going into these operations to make it so these athletes could perform at the highest level.
Yeah, and they just did whatever they could to win, I guess. I mean, did they even win that much in that Olympics, though? Did it even pay off?
I think they won like 70 medals.
Okay.
You can compare that to and there's less competitive events in the Winter Olympics. And you can compare that to the U.S., who won the most medals this year, where I think they won over 100. So it's quite a few medals. But I mean, did it really pay off because they got banned from the next Olympics?
Yeah, and now they're flying under the Olympic flag, right? That's how it works.
Yeah, So the Olympics decided not to ban all the athletes, just the Russian country, and so the athletes, if they want to come, they just can't go underneath the Russian flag.
Which, I mean, as long as they're not doping anymore, right? I guess that works.
Yeah, I guess. Hopefully they're not.
And we'll touch a little bit up more on the Olympics here later in the show. We've got a little bit more news on that. All right, next up we have the Indians/Guardians, the newly named Guardians. We covered that a couple weeks ago. And the city of Cleveland has struck an agreement on a 15-year extension of the Progressive Field lease. The deal is also to include the option for 10 additional years to be tacked on there. So good news for the city of Cleveland.
Yeah, that's always really good news, and especially nowadays where it feels like teams are running through new ballparks at a record pace. I mean, the Rangers, they built their original stadium in Arlington 5 years after Cleveland got their stadium, and they already have a new stadium. So
yeah,
it's kind of always surprising when you hear that team's like, we'll stick with what we got.
Yeah, I was really shocked to hear that the Rangers were going to get a new stadium, Because it was like that stadium. That stadium's not old.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. In my mind, I was like, "That's a new stadium," and then I was like, "You're getting a new stadium."
And now the new ballpark plays like freaking cavernous as all hell, and it's just impossible to hit anything out there.
Yeah, that was such a big change because Texas was always such a home run park, and now it's like a massive pitcher's park. It's like, what the hell?
It doesn't make sense, the just dramatic shift in Texas, because Texas was known for like their run-of-the-mill power hitters, their Joey Gallos, their Nomar Mazzaras, their Rougned Odors when they had them there.
Yeah, they have a long history. You can go back to like Juan Gonzalez, Rafael Palmeiro, Avon Rodriguez. They've been hitting home runs forever, and I guess they just wanted to change of pace.
They said, "Oh, people are hitting it farther now. Well, we can't let that happen."
No, not in Texas.
Yeah, but let's go back to the topic, right? The Indians or Guardians, they're going to be there for a long time to come. I mean, I don't know why they wouldn't sign an extension with the new rebranding.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I guess their first thing they're trying to guard is the stadium in Cleveland. So,
wise words, Andrew. So next up on the docket, we have Clayton Kershaw, likely out till September with left elbow inflammation. He just can't really stay healthy, can he?
no, this is like multiple years in a row. If it's not his back, now it's his elbow. It's never a good sign when you see a pitcher with elbow inflammation.
And especially at the age that Kershaw's at.
Yeah, he's on the wrong side of 30, and when you start seeing this, you start thinking Tommy John. I mean, that's just the first thing that comes to my mind whenever I hear about elbow inflammation.
Yeah, and we've seen Justin Verlander. He's already gotten Tommy John this year. He's another one of those pitchers on the wrong side of 30. We're really going to have to see how his rehab goes and see if it works out for him, I guess.
Yeah, I hope so. Not a big fan of the Dodgers, but I'm a big fan of Kershaw, and the game's in a better place when he's pitching well. So I hope to see him back healthy.
Yeah, and I think it was just last week where we talked about the Dodgers rotation, right?
Yeah, this is a big hit to the Dodgers rotation. Of course, they have Max Scherzer coming in, who's just been dealing in his first two starts. So not as big of a hit as it would have been, but the Dodgers have had a lot of question marks in the rotation for a team that seemed pretty set on it at the beginning of the year.
Nah, it's okay. They'll be fine. They're going to turn Danny Duffy into a freaking .8 ERA guy.
Yeah, and they got that $290 million payroll for a reason.
It's only going to go up, isn't it?
It's just
ridiculous.
They got that amazing TV deal where they get that loophole. So,
all right, next up we have the Red Sox. They're in the news this week as they continue to slide down their division rankings, as they have lost 9 of their last 12 games, and they're now 5 games back of first place. That's rough news for the Red Sox.
Yeah, this has been absolutely devastating to their playoff chances. They had a pretty solid lead just 12 games ago, and with these 9 of 12 losses, they've unfortunately come against division rivals. They were swept by Tampa Bay. They lost 3 or 4 against Toronto. They lost multiple games against Toronto at the beginning of this losing streak. So now they are standing 5 games back in their own division, and they have the second wildcard spot, and they're only 2 games up on the Yankees. So what seemed like a division that they were once running away with, now the Red Sox are fighting for that last postseason spot. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, and the Rays got hot at the right time, right?
Yeah, that just seems to be the Rays in recent years. You don't look at their team and see a lot of big names, but they just always seem to be just putting out a lot of valuable players. I mean, if you look at their lineup, I'm sure that most Major League Baseball fans couldn't name more than 2 guys.
Yeah, you probably couldn't. The average baseball fan doesn't watch a whole lot of Rays baseball.
The average Rays fan doesn't watch a whole lot of Rays baseball.
I mean, have you seen their stadium?
Yeah. I wonder if they're going to extend their lease.
If they do, they have to have a new stadium. They can't stay in Tropicana Field for much longer.
No, I don't think Tropicana Field can stand up on its own for much longer.
It's going to collapse at some point. It's going to be like the Metrodome.
Yeah, it's just going to be that big old dome just falling in one day. Otani's going to hit a ball through it. It's just going to collapse.
Yeah, if you guys haven't seen that clip, Shohei Ohtani has hit a ball through the Tokyo Dome, right?
Yeah, that was amazing.
When he played in Japan, that clip is very fun to watch because everybody's just like, "Where did the ball go? Oh my god, did it go on the roof up there?
It's just
Oh my god!"
right through.
I'm honestly not shocked though.
No, not with his exit velocities.
Yeah. We also have Bryce Harper in the news. He is now an MVP candidate. He's put up some very good stats in the last few weeks, and he's been pretty consistent throughout the season. What are your thoughts on that, Andrew?
I mean, yeah, he's an amazing player. Bryce Harper, for as much hype as he got coming into the league, seems to be kind of underrated now, oddly. And he's just been amazing lately. He's got his on base percentage around 400. His OPS is approaching 1,000, and the Phillies have been hot. So whenever you have a team that catches on fire and they take the division lead, you're going to be looking at their main contributors to be MVP candidates.
Yeah, and he's just been consistently. I'm gonna say he's been consistently underrated in my opinion. He's played two very solid career stats. Like not anything that'll like completely blow you away, but he's been very, very good in the last few years. The last couple of years that he's been a Philly, like they've been saying, "Oh yeah, Bryce Harper hasn't done anything since he's gone to the Phillies," but he's been above replacement level. He's been quite a bit above replacement level.
Yeah, he's been worth his contract for sure. I think he has a 950 OPS since he came to the Phillies, which is exactly what they're paying for. Yeah. I know he's got that 13-year, was it 300 and something like $40 million contract?
Stupid amount of money.
A lot of money. And it's almost like he has to have Ted Williams numbers for anyone to be impressed. Like anyone else, they're looking at 950 OPS and they're like MVP chanting, and they look at Bryce Harper with a 950, they're like, "Oh, get in the corner."
Nobody will be impressed with any numbers if you're signing a deal that big. It's just not gonna happen, man.
No, definitely.
and you said the Phillies, they took over the lead for the NL East, right?
Yeah, the Mets have really collapsed recently.
Sounds like the Red Sox.
Yeah, there's a lot going on the East Coast right now. The Mets recently had a streak of 4 games where they had 44 men left on base.
Wow.
Yeah, so I mean, anytime you have that, you're not going to win a lot of games.
And they're a team that really needs help with their offensive production because they just haven't been able to drive in runs, right?
Yeah, they really haven't. I know they went out and got Javier Baez for that. Might not be the right choice.
This is the guy he's not an OBP guy, right?
Yeah, he's not going to get on base a lot. He'll hit some home runs. You just better hope there's guys on base in front of him.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, if I was to pick, I would have taken Chris Bryant out of the lot at the trade deadline instead of Javi Baez, or maybe Anthony Rizzo at that.
Yeah.
I know you got Pete Alonso, but still.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I think Chris Bryant would have been a much better fit for them.
Yeah, because they don't really have a third baseman, do they?
No, they don't.
Oh, the Mets. They're always interesting, right?
Yeah. The Miracle Mets, right? Or the Amazing Mets. That's what they're called, right?
I don't think they got a miracle left in them anymore this year.
No, not since DeGrom went down. So.
Yeah, he's been down for a couple weeks now, right?
Yeah, he has. Yeah.
What did he have? Like a forearm strain or something again?
Yeah, I think that's what it was.
There was something wrong with his arm. Yeah, you never want to hear any arm injuries out of these top pitchers, so...
Yeah, he probably would have been the runaway MVP candidate if he was still pitching it the way he was.
Yeah, who's your MVP candidate right now? I talked a little bit about it before the show, but tell the people.
I think with no one really running away with it in NL, I think Tatis is still the clear-cut favorite. He's got
no bias whatsoever, right?
No, this is actually without. I do have to stipulate that I am a Padre fan, but Tatis has a 7 home run lead, plays at a premium position, and is still at the leaderboard for wins above replacement.
For now, he plays at a premium position. Yeah. We'll get to that a little bit later in the show. We'll elaborate on that. Yeah, I don't know if it'll change things. I think right now you really look at MVPs as hitters instead of you don't really look at fielders a whole lot, right? You never see a good fielder alone make an MVP spot. Like you had. I don't know. You've had some bad fielders make MVP before.
Well, look at Bryce Harper is getting talk right now. Yeah. He's arguably the worst fielding right field in baseball.
Man, he used to be really good too when he was younger. I don't think he can move as well anymore.
No, I don't think he can either. He's 1.2 wins below replacement level on defense.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Wow.
so really, really bad. That's like Manny Ramirez bad.
At least he still got that cannon.
Yeah, yeah. If he gets the ball, he can throw you out.
Yeah. He's like Vlad Guerrero Sr. in his older years when his feet hurt.
Yeah, and then he'd sail the ball over the third baseman's head into the stands.
Because he could just launch it.
Yep.
Couldn't move very well, but could still throw darts. We got a few more stories left, then we're going to get out of here. Like we said, we have a shorter one today, so...
Yeah, we don't want to talk to you.
Sorry.
Bye, guys.
Yeah, it was just a slow news week. It's that time of year where you just don't have much. But the Olympics concluded, and the USA baseball team wins silver against Japan in the final game, in the gold medal game. And the Dominican Republic, they won bronze, and yeah, Japan won gold.
Yeah, actually, I stayed up and turned on this game at 3:00 in the morning.
You did?
I
Oh
did.
my God.
I wanted to watch the gold medal game.
Pain.
And it was a 2-0 heartbreaking loss. The United States just couldn't get anything going. But I was just watching the players play, and it was just so much fun. You don't have like the StatCast strike zone on there. All the pitchers are thrown. You're getting them in kilometers per hour instead of miles per hour.
So you just have no idea.
Yeah, it's like guy threw 152 kilometers per hour. I'm like, that sounds fast.
My American units conversion is not working today. Yeah. I do not know what kilometers per hour is.
Yeah, it was like so late at night. I was just like, I tried to do like the high school math in my head.
Yeah.
And I was like, nope, not happening.
Yeah, but those guys, they play hard. And that's a thing I really like seeing is people representing their country to play baseball. That's why I really love the World Baseball Classic. Too bad it only comes around every, how many years?
Every 4 years, right?
It's every 4 years, too?
Yeah.
So when did they play the World Baseball Classic last?
I think I want to say
2017?
It was either 2017 or 2016, right? And I thought it might have been delayed.
That was such a fun year.
That was so good. I can't wait for the next World Baseball Classic. I'm a big fan.
Because the only reason I say that, I'm going to say it, that's a little bit better than the Olympics, in my opinion. Not because of status, but surely because you have the major league players from each country playing in that tournament. Exactly. And then you see the best of the best from each country instead of like some of these lesser known guys. Like I'm not trying to knock on these guys that are playing for the USA team that are down in the minors, but yeah, you get to see the best of the best from each country.
Yeah, exactly. And for like the United States team, their top pitcher was Scott Kazmir.
Who was playing in AAA before.
Yeah, recently retired. Todd Frazier was the team captain. So, in the World Baseball Classic, you're seeing the stars of the game come out.
Yeah. Yeah, that USA team was star-studded. They had Christian Yelich, Giancarlo Stanton. Yeah. Who'd they have at first? They had somebody big at first. They have Rizzo? Was it Rizzo?
Yeah, I think it was Rizzo.
No, it was Hosmer. Hosmer when he was good. Hosmer when he was good. That's the important part.
It's been a while. It's been a while since we had the last World Baseball Classic.
Yeah, it's been a few years. Buster Posey, pitchers like Marcus Stroman. I don't know why this pops into mind, but they had Tyler Clippard.
Yeah. Was it Adam Jones probably, huh?
Yes, Adam Jones. He played center field. He robbed Manny Machado in the semifinal game, right?
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, that was a big catch.
Yeah. And I don't know, it's kind of weird to me how the USA hosted almost every single game there in the later stages. But, you got to admit, they're the best equipped for it.
Yeah, we got all the Major League Baseball stadiums.
Yeah.
We already have the entire infrastructure built around the stadiums for people to go out and enjoy the cities and things like that. Mm-hmm. But it would be cool to see it in Dominican Republic one year.
It would be, yeah. Just see what kind of stuff they got around there. I mean, it is called America's Pastime, so I mean,
yeah,
what you gonna do about it? But I really love the World Baseball Classic, and I want it to come back.
Yeah, me too.
All right, moving on. We have Fernando Tatis Jr. making the news for his second consecutive week, and it is somewhat injury related. It's related to his shoulder, His shoulder pops out of its socket every other week. So he is going to be moving to the outfield to limit the shoulder damage, right?
Yep. So yesterday the Padres confirmed that Tatis has been taking reps out in right field and center field. He's going to be moving to the outfield for the remainder of the year. It looks like they're trying to do this to limit the opportunities that he has to injure his shoulder. So when you're at shortstop, there's a lot of diving, a lot of high effort plays. In right field, there's not as many diving opportunities. So I think that this is probably a good move for the rest of the year. Of course, in the offseason, he is going to be getting surgery.
Yeah, and I think that's the end goal for them is to just get him there without having to sit him out, really.
Yeah, without him turning into the Winter Soldier and having his arm fall off.
Just replace it with the metal arm. It'll be fine. then he won't have to worry about it. But what's that going to be like for the Padres to manage that roster if Tatis is in the outfield then?
So it'll actually work out pretty well. So Hosmer since the All-Star break has been hitting about 360. I know that we were just talking about how bad he's been doing.
Wow.
Yeah, with 1,000 OPS.
Hosmer really went, oh, you're going to trade me? No. I'm sticking around for this contract.
Yeah. So all of a sudden he's been batting his weight at least. So I think the idea is that Will Myers and then recently Tommy Pham haven't been performing as well. So they could do a platoon where if there's a lefty, you can move Will Myers first, put Tatis in right, have Grisham in center still and Pham in left. And then, with a hard throwing righty, you can put Tatis in right field and then keep Pham in left and Grisham in center.
Doesn't Will Myers have reverse splits, or is that Pham?
I think that Will Myers has reverse splits this season, but traditionally hits lefties a lot better.
So you could probably platoon Pham and Myers if that ends up working. Aren't they both righties though?
Yeah.
So it's not like a traditional platooning, but it just depends on who hits what better.
Exactly. And looks like Pham's been dealing with some nagging injuries lately. Mm-hmm. His production's really fallen off the last month.
Yeah, you'll probably see Will Myers out there in left or something.
Yeah, definitely.
And who's going to take over at shortstop? You're going to see a little bit of Adam Frazier there. You're going to see a lot of Ha-Seong Kim.
I think you'll be seeing a lot of Jake Cronenworth.
Jake Cronenworth. I completely forgot about Cronenworth.
Yeah, he's been doing an amazing job taking over at shortstop. Had one of the better plays I've seen at shortstop for the season last week.
Really nice play, like diving to his right?
Yeah, diving to his right. The one hop throw to first base.
Yeah,
it was a good play. So he definitely has potential to stay there. And then next year will be Tatis taking back over.
Mm-hmm. And how are the Padres doing overall health-wise? I know they're notorious for being a little beat up, but how are they doing right now?
They have 22 players on the IL. So.
Oh wow. But do you? I mean, that must suck. I know the Angels fans hate their training staff because of the constant injuries, but you guys are quite beat up.
I think that's just been to everyone this year. I was listening to Buck Showalter talk, and he was speaking about after the 1994 strike that there's a big uptick in injuries from players not having played the full season before.
Yeah.
So I think this is something that every fan base is going through right now.
And it's a weird time in baseball because we might get another strike this upcoming year.
Yeah, exactly. So this could be a problem that we're dealing with for the next 3 or 4 years.
Do you think that during the new CBA negotiations, right? That's what it is?
Yeah.
So you think with that coming up that MLB is going to concede like a lot more just to keep baseball going at the time that it is right now? Because we really need baseball and we can't afford a strike year after a shortened season the year before this one.
Yeah. I mean, that's a really tough question. I have no idea. It's tough. I mean, I know people are looking at the baseball players and saying that these guys are being overpaid already as it is. If you go to a stadium with a family of 4, good luck getting out of there without spending $250.
Yeah.
But then you look over in Europe and you look at what's going on with soccer or football, and you have guys that are making $80 million a year. So I'm not really sure what the players are looking at. I'm not really sure what the owners are looking at, how desperate they really are. That's just a tough one, man.
Yeah, and if the owners are as desperate as they can get, really, because they've lost so much money in the last season, then I'm sure that they'll be a little bit more apt to concede in towards the players' favor. Yeah.
Yeah, you'd have to think so. especially with how much the baseball brand was hurt after the 1994 strike, that with teams having their record evaluations for how much their franchises are worth, that they're not going to want to hurt that type of income revenue.
Yeah, because less games played means less revenue.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, on to our last story. We have the Rockies mascot incident. I didn't write any of this down because I was like, oh, yeah, I know this off the top of my head. But the gist of the story is that the Rockies investigated a fan for yelling over at... Wait, well, it was in the end, it was investigated on and found out that he was yelling over at the Rockies mascot Dinger, and they thought that it was a racial slur directed towards the batter of the Mariners, right?
It was Marlins.
Marlins.
Yeah,
it was an M team.
Yeah, it was Lewis Brinson. So
yeah,
and it took about 24 hours for the story to really come out that he was yelling at the mascot. So there's about 24-hour news cycle where this guy was being identified as a racist individual, and if he had been yelling a slur, that would be a horrible thing to have happened. So this is the best news that he wasn't, that he was yelling at the Rockies mascot.
Yeah.
I had no idea what the Rockies mascot name was going into this.
That's the same name of the mascot out here in Sacramento for the River Cats.
Oh, but yeah, no. When I heard the video myself, I was like, "Oh my God, what did that guy just say?"
See, when I saw the video, I thought it was pretty clear. Like, I thought he wasn't even looking at the field. If you see it, he's looking way over to his right, and the mascot is literally standing right over there. And it's like, the way I saw it, I was like, yeah, it's pretty cut and clear.
Yeah, I didn't know what the Rockies mascot name was when I watched the video for the first time.
Yeah. That can be kind of jarring if you don't know that. And now that's got every other fan base or every other GM looking at each mascot's name to make sure it's nothing close to a racial slur, I guess.
Man, just crisis averted. That would have been really bad.
Yeah. I mean, there was already some damage done to that guy's character, though, because I'm pretty sure it was Bob Nightingale. He was already calling for his head, right? Yeah,
he was, which is unusual for Bob Nightingale, because I'm pretty sure I've only seen him retweet other people's stories. So,
is it? I don't know how much you've seen on Twitter, but Bob Nightingale is just infamous for being wrong.
yeah. It's either he's retweeting someone else's story, or he's announcing trade speculations that never happened.
Yeah, because it's like anytime he announces, like, is 90% time he's wrong. I think I've seen like 3 correct stories out of him. I don't know what it is that makes him wrong all the time, but it's like the Bob Nightingale jinx.
Yeah, exactly. You just gotta look at his tweets and be like, all right, so the opposite of this is happening.
Yeah, everybody in the comments, the second that he tweets, they go like, oh, so it's not happening. Okay. Yeah. Good to know. Thanks, Bob.
Don't have to worry about that.
But that'll finish up this week's weekly roundup. I think this is episode 8. I think we're almost to 10. Couple more. We'll get there. I don't know what we're gonna do in the off season, but we'll figure something out for you guys. Andrew, you got anything else for this week?
No, I think those are all the stories I wanted to cover.
Yeah. Like I said, short week. We elaborated on them pretty good, so this should be like a 20-minute video. Video, podcast, whatever you listen on. Make sure to check out our Redbubble shop. Go to Redbubble and type in Halos in the Infield. We got a lot of great new designs. Go check out the commercial. I made that one. Todd voiced it over. Andrew, did you see that one yet?
Oh, that was amazing. You guys did such a great job.
I had a great time making it. It took me 5 hours to edit the whole thing. It was painful. Hopefully I get better at it in the future. But go check out the Redbubble shop. And that'll do it for this week. We will see you guys next week with the next weekly roundup. See you guys later.
When you watch Halos in the Infield and go to our Redbubble shop, many great designs are only a few clicks away. The brand new Halos in the Infield neon design is sure to make you the talk of the town. With shirts, hats, sweatshirts, shower curtains, and much more. Also new to the shop is the stylish Halos in the Infield synthwave design, which can be found on countless items such as t-shirts, tank tops, and even a clock.
A clock?
Yes, you heard me right, a clock. Available right now for the low price of $31.06. And speaking of prices, all classic t-shirts are available for only $19.90. Buy now to ensure that you don't miss out on these awesome designs, because if you don't, then we'll put you in a Jose Altuve jersey and ship you to Dodger Stadium. The new neon and synthwave designs from Halos in the Infield. Buy now.